Hello everybody, I'm Markee Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life, and this is one of my in-game characters. Isn't he cute? All them feathers on his head. This is the game of Link Realms, and we have some special guests on the show today. We have Paul and Herb, who are the creators of Link Realms. And I don't know if you guys can wave in-game. Do you guys know how to do that? Is there a command to wave in-game?
There is.
Yes, there is. It's hard to do with a sword in your hand.
Oh! So, real quick, for people who have never seen Link Realms before, do one of you kind of want to just say, in a few sentences, what Link Realms is?
Yeah, I actually, I'll take this one, Paul. Link Realms is a isometric MMO. Kind of harks back to the old days, the glory days of MMOs to some people. It's concentrating on player-owned realms with custom housing. You can build anything you want in there, from a castle to a house to just a forest. We have open dungeons. Anyone can join the dungeon, and you've got skill-based game. It's not a class-based game. Any of the races can master any of the skills. Very into the customizing of the player, both in the way they look and earning skills. It's a free-to-play game. We are trying to fund it with a item store, but we're being careful not to sell cheating type of items. The Sword of Ultimate Imbalance and with stuff like that.
Yeah, we're really against the whole pay-to-win concept.
Mm-hmm. I do like this outfit that I'm wearing is one of the things that you sell in the store, and I thought it looked really cool. Now it had 0 attributes on it when I bought it, and so I had to do like this imbuing of attributes from other items that were gotten in game to give to this. So basically, you have to work for the items, but I get to look cool at the same time.
Exactly. It becomes a true vanity item and doesn't affect the balance of gameplay at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and speaking of the store, now you guys have got beta applications open right now. Is that correct for the people who are watching live?
That's correct. We have a applications page that people can fill out at any time, and then once a week we select people and send out codes. But for the duration of this stream, anybody can go to the website right now at linkrealms.com and go to the beta application page and sign up.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So let's see some of this game other than the bank, where we've got a dog fighting a chicken.
Okay. I will take you to one of the starting dungeons.
That poor dog.
Somebody killed a puppy.
Okay, and I suppose that you guys are going to transport me there. Use your special abilities to do that because I don't know the way.
Yep,
So,
and here you are.
okay. So am I going to die in this dungeon, or are you guys going to protect
No,
me?
I've got us set to be invisible to monsters at the moment, but this is actually probably the lowest level dungeon in the game.
Okay.
So I think you'll be fine.
Okay.
We have, just over here, we do have some breakables. These are just items you can kick.
Oh, very Diablo-esque.
And exactly. Mostly, these usually just have food in them, sometimes armor. But and that's one thing I should point out. In this game, you heal primarily with food, but also with magic.
Okay.
The entrance is hidden over here.
Okie dokie.
Now this dungeon's really kind of interesting to us in the AI department. You have, in this dungeon, a a whole ton of bugs, cave bugs that live down here, and they kind of have personality. The earwigs, for instance, if enough earwigs get together in one place, they will start to vote themselves a leader, and you'll actually see them talk about it between each other. Eventually, one becomes a leader, and we call him the general, and he will command the other earwigs to attack you. He'll sit behind safely, but he'll gather up all the earwigs he can in his area. Eventually, as you fight your way through this dungeon, you'll have a wave of fungus creatures spawn, and when you kill those off, the Cricket King shows up. The earwigs, the general, he kind of has his eye on the throne, and so, it's a lot of fun to watch them talk to each other. But eventually, you can get the earwig general to try to take on the Cricket King, and if he wins, he'll take the crown, and he grows even larger. And
We've lost your mic a little bit there. You need to speak
I'm
up.
sorry. So, we put a lot of work into making these boss monsters a little more interesting than in a lot of MMOs. You have your general Mario type monsters in a lot of MMOs that just see you and move towards you, but we try to spice that up with some more thinking monsters, and they're using our new AI system that the pets work off of.
Oh yeah. So, how many? Am I going to breeze through the dungeon in a day, or what is the? I don't know, the longer term play. I obviously have to work quite a bit to be able to last in a dungeon all by myself, right?
Right. We don't prevent people from entering any dungeon. There's no level requirement before you can even enter a dungeon, but we figure the limits will be imposed by the difficulty of the dungeon itself. Like I said, this is probably the easiest dungeon, but we definitely have a variety that appeals to vet players all the way down to the new players. And the rewards are coincide with the difficulty of the dungeon. And our dungeons, we've tried not to just make them a place to go kill things just as a spawning ground. All of our dungeons either have some kind of a phase system to them, or tiered quests that you go through to open up the next section of the dungeon, and then it will reset. So very few of them are just a place where monsters spawn.
So now there's some. This is reminiscent of Ultima Online, and I know you guys have taken some of the spirit of that, and used that in your development. So, and the skill system is the same way in here as it was in Ultima Online. Is that correct?
Yeah, the skill system is similar to Ultima. We do have a global cap for all of the skills, but we decided to keep the trade skills separate, so the trade skills don't count towards your overall cap at all. We didn't want people to have to build a mule character just for crafting. That's one significant difference. We have, unlike UO, we have 4 stats. We have strength, agility, wisdom, and intelligence. We have 2 different kinds of magic. That's why we have mana and psi. And stamina for our battle tactics, and life are your hit points. Though there is a cap on those as well, but there are elixirs to increase that cap.
It looks like we have Cricket Lord in here.
Yeah, we cheated him ahead for you.
Okay, well, let's see if I can get my butt kicked with him.
A fun thing to do is if you kill these little puffballs, they'll explode and make a cloud that kind of chokes him out. He doesn't like it.
infected puffball. Okay.
He's about to
There we
explode.
go.
There you go.
Yes, he's he's a low-level boss, so he's not terribly hard to kill. It helps if you can trick some of the earwig generals into taking him on for you. With a little planning, you can make it go pretty quickly.
So, who does the graphics for the game?
I do the graphics, the models, the animations, particle systems, background, sprites, the whole deal.
Yeah, because they're, and he's the Cricket King, right? Cricket Lord.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just looking at him and enjoying the.
If you use your mouse wheel, you can actually zoom in closer.
Yeah, I found that out, and I've done that.
Okay.
So. Oh, and he has a lot of loot. Oh my.
Perfect for new players.
Yes. Okay. Well, I get my little hood thing here.
Yeah,
Hooded tunic.
you're not going to be trading up if you wear any of that stuff.
Yeah, I know. It just looks cool. So,
One thing we haven't mentioned is PvP.
yeah, tell me about that.
Some of our we decided we want to cater really to both the PvE crowd and the PvP crowd, and I realize that's sometimes a seemingly impossible goal. We decided to just have certain areas in the game, and I'm not talking a whole mirror of the world, but just certain dungeons, certain land where there is open PvP. So, this dungeon, of course, being a new player dungeon, PvP isn't allowed here, but we have other dungeons where it's free for all as far as who you can kill.
Mm-hmm.
As far as loot, there are mostly resources will drop on your corpse when you die. You won't necessarily lose all of your armor. We may change those rules into some of the more hardcore PvP dungeons, but at this point, yeah, it's mostly resources.
So, we got questions in here from Game Cyber. He wants to hear more about the land ownership part of the game. Do we want to go and take a look at someone's house?
Sure, I'll go seek one down while Herb explains that.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so the world is divided up into acres that we call realms.
Mm-hmm.
They are a premium item, not terribly expensive. For a few bucks, you can get a month to have your realm there. You get a bunch of store credits along with it to buy whatever you want, fancy looking stuff or repair tools or whatever. Once you have your realm, you use a offline method, a separate program to build your realm. The realm
okay.
edit.
So you actually can play part of the game offline?
Well, yeah, you can build your realm offline, and even if you don't actually have any land, anybody can experiment with building a realm. It's fun to just play with, even if you don't intend to get any land. But people that do tend to, oh boy, they have a lot of fun with it. It depends where you live. People in the forests tend to build big farms. They'll build a wall around their realm and lock the door and grow tons of crops inside of it. Other players that live in the PvP volcano zone will build traps to lure the monsters that live out there into their house. And
I can bring you to one of those right now.
Okay.
the
Let's do
PvP
it.
ones.
Yeah.
All right. One of the neat things is that you can set up what we call event modules, but they're basically items like switches, doors, fire spawners, teleports, ethereal walls, all kinds of stuff like that, monster spawners. And so, for instance, if you felt like it, you could make a door so if somebody goes in, they step on a pressure plate, the door closes behind them, and a bunch of monsters come out of the ground. So you can kind of play around with making little mini dungeons. I mean, of course, the players aren't spawning boss monsters in their realms, but you see a lot of. This is a guild house that we're in right now.
Okay.
See, you'll see this little switch right here. When I hit the switch, it opens up a portal. So, the players set that up to work that way.
Okay, and that goes to just some other location?
Yeah, wherever they set it.
Okay.
I wouldn't walk in there. You never know.
Well, that could be fun.
Yeah. So these guys have got a lot of tall roofs in the way, but yeah, they've got some ranch stuff going on over here, and some tools. This is the Beefalo's guild house. It's in a PvP area, and I just saw this morning a video of somebody raiding this place.
Oh, really? So.
Oh yeah.
So how does that work? Somebody broke in and was able to.
Somehow, I don't really have the story on that.
Either they didn't lock their doors. So, one thing about these lands, as Herb mentioned earlier, is their spawns that are random. Sometimes they'll be in your realm, sometimes they'll be in someone else's. But they have some stones that you can get fragments of to upgrade, get some really nice artifacts. So all PvP is permitted in this area. So if people like to go grab the boss and bring it into their house, because then they can put them in a box, makes it a lot easier to kill them. But at the same time, if a player happens to run in your door while you have it open, you have that to contend with.
Yes, and that harks back to the old days of UO.
That happened to me once.
Yes.
And I lost half the stuff in my house when they opened up a gate in the house, and then all these people started flooding in and picking up as much as they could carry and walking back to the gate.
That really won't happen in Link Realms, because the stuff in your house is locked down.
People can steal your crops, though.
Yeah, there's limited things, just stuff that regenerates, or some you can if you kill a monster, you can gather up its soul. It's used for spiritualism. They can steal a few of those from you, not all of them.
Is this an outhouse?
That's an outhouse. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh, I was wondering,
how to make that work.
How I'd get the armor down.
Yeah. Oh boy. I'm the guy that also does the sound effects. So.
Yeah, I'd hate to. I hate to pinch something, zipping that back up. Okay.
So yeah, one of the common uses of a realm is to grow crops. It doesn't look like they have any growing here right now, but it takes several days for them to mature and then harvest, and then they eventually die.
And so growing the crops, then they turn that into food and everything?
Yes. And as I mentioned earlier, food is a big part of the game, because that's how you make your heals, and some are better than others. And some of them will spoil. Wines won't spoil ever, but some of the lesser foods will. Players can also have vendors here. They earn a commission off of all of the business that the vendors do.
Oh, okay. Do you think they'll mind if I got mud on their beds?
I don't know. We'll have to...
Okay, so this is a guild house, but then there's, and so I assume that you have to be a guild in order to get this house, or is this just a regular housing deed that's being used for the guild?
It's just a regular house. One person out of the whole guild has decided to be the house owner. And I know the guild master has a house somewhere else. So when you're in the PvP zone and you own a house, it's kind of useful, because you kind of have a safe place to run to.
Oh, now
you can lock the door
you
behind
teleported us out. I was really hoping to go through that portal.
Oh, I'm sorry.
In fact, I was just about to wander off through there.
This is another player-owned house. Everything you see here was built completely by a player.
Wow.
Yeah, this one's pretty nice.
Yeah, this is great looking. And so this isn't just some house design that they plopped down. They actually put this all
is
together.
built from scratch. Yeah, this is built from scratch. Even the walls, you choose which textures you want for each part of the wall.
And this is done with that offline application that you were talking about.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
And you don't have to have a realm. You can, like we were saying earlier, you can set permissions. You can give basically your friends, the permission to do everything you would do in here.
Mm-hmm. So
yeah, one thing that guilds do is they'll have a guild chest in there, and everybody throws their stuff in it.
Mm-hmm. So for those of you who are watching live, and actually for those of you watching on YouTube as well, so we do at MarkeeDragon.com, we have for you starter packs. Normally they charge for these things, so don't trample everybody else trying to get there and get them. But we have some of those available over there, and so check it out.
Those starter packs are really nice too.
Yeah, they give a few nice items.
Yeah, they'll help you out a lot.
Mm-hmm. And normally you guys charging for those. So, and those are I assume only available over at our place. If you get them from you, they're going to pay you money, right?
Yep.
Okay, limit
Hopefully.
1 per person. Hopefully, yes. So now let's talk about that. This is a free-to-play game, right?
Correct. You can do pretty much everything. We do have to charge for the claim stakes only because there's only so much land available, and if we didn't, it would all be gone overnight.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But virtually everything else in the store, like I said, is cosmetic, vanity item, some time savers, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I really like. Let's see, Crack Regnator. Golly, I'm just slaughtering his name. He's in chat here. He's talking about that he really likes the deep customization for the houses, and I agree. It's pretty amazing looking. How many floors tall can a house go?
Oh, I think the limit's around 4.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 5. But boy, you start getting too high, and
the houses sway in storms.
Some people build these big Borg cubes. This is like, okay, I'm just going to enclose my whole realm in a big square, and you walk inside and it's full of farming equipment and cows and chickens and
it's more of a utilitarian house than it is
it's utilitarian.
Yes. So I assumed you placed me in front of this gate so I would run through it.
Yep.
The Hades. So where are we?
Okay, this is Hades. This is another phased dungeon. I think some guys... Oh, wait, they may have just finished.
And why is it going to collapse?
Oh, they just finished. Okay, remember I said that most of the dungeons are phased and then they reset?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It looks like they just finished. So
okay.
It's pending reset in 10 minutes.
Okay, well...
Well, why don't we talk a little bit about pets, because there's actually a tournament that is finishing up right now.
Oh.
Or no, it's just about to start. You want to talk about that, Herb?
Okay. Speaking of pets, my parrot has just crawled onto my shoulder and is threatening to bite my ear. She hates it when I have these headphones on. Okay.
So if you scream and then we hear nothing, we'll know what happened.
Okay. Oh yeah, she's biting it now. So we have a rather interesting new AI system in Link Realms. It's kind of you look at it, it's like a bunch of little brain cells with links between them, and each, it's not quite a neural net, but kind of reminds you of one when you look at it. It was developed not just for the...
Oh, isn't this illegal?
Oh yeah,
not in Link Realms.
No.
Oh my.
Now, the pets I don't even know what they're going to do from 1 minute to the next. You know, they're not just programmed to say, if this, then that. They kind of make up their own mind in a lot of ways. And they have a lot of customization. Very, very deep. First of all, they have genes. And they have genes for both behavior and appearance. So, oh boy, I don't know how many genes they have. There's billions and trillions of combinations, though. You can breed them, and it will actually generate a new pet from the parent's DNA. And
not just visual, but behavioral tendencies.
Right.
And like.
Right. So when we were developing this, we needed a short-lived but interesting and active test pet. So here these roosters are our test animal. The next one's going to be the wolf, but for now, roosters. So these guys, like I say, they're born with behaviors, but they can also learn. As they're doing something, you can, when you have their paper doll open, you can hit, punish, or reward. And whatever they're doing at the time, you know, you can reduce or increase that behavior. Not only that, but they have dozens and dozens of different foods they can eat that will affect their behavior. For instance, you know, some foods make them see farther. You know, some foods make them not sleep. You know, the caffeine food makes them not sleep. The,
caffeine for chickens?
You know, yes, it might kill a real chicken, but not these. These guys just never die. You've got equips. They can wear. Well, in the case of chickens, they'll have different, like, little knives on their feet for fighting, or they'll have crystals. And if it's wearing crystals, then it can cast spells. So yeah, you know, watch these guys. They're actually shooting fireballs at each other and pulling off special maneuvers. And
so, how much time have people spent with training these chickens?
Oh, a lot of time. This is a pretty prestigious thing we just happened to come across. Right now, the tier 6 eliminations. This arena's been going for 3 days, and people enter their birds in, and one comes out the winner, and the winners are all up here on this board.
They have to make it through 6 separate tiers.
Oh, wow.
If you click on the different names, you can see the different winners.
I need a trophy like that.
Yes,
that actually is a trophy that you get.
Yeah, you get that trophy.
Wow.
You can get a pretty neat helmet and some other stuff. You know, the pets are deep. Obviously, you know, this was a practice animal. The wolf is coming up next. You saw the puppy running around earlier.
Right.
You know, he's not done yet though. But people have had a lot of fun with these. You know.
Yeah, they're very useful as well in dungeons. You can train them to heal you, or attack people when you're attacked. So.
Yeah. Here's an example. You know, some people, there's a certain gene for shyness, and people will breed those and then give them crystals and train them to cast heals on themselves and the player. And so they'll avoid fights. They'll sit in the background and heal you. That's pretty neat, you know, because that same bird, if it was trained differently and equipped differently, would behave totally differently.
Yeah. So what is the community like here? I mean, is there a lot of people who are like real life friends after meeting in the game and such?
I think so. It is a pretty tight-knit community just because, you know, we are in a closed beta. and have been for a while. So we have some players who've been around for a long time and have started guilds and brought in a lot of new players. I think any new player that joins should be able to find a guild to join pretty quickly. People are pretty open.
Mm-hmm. Now, I just saw that person saying, "Oh, there's new players logging in. Gotta go." So what's that about?
We have some players who volunteer to be guides just to help new players who come in and show them around. So if you log in and you have questions or you just want a little tour of the game, just ask on Global Speech for a guide, and someone will show up most likely and help you out.
Mm-hmm.
They are just players though who are just volunteering to help. We still need to do a little work on our tutorial, so that helps.
Yeah.
So we appreciate it.
Our
when you do
newbie
that.
experience is not very polished yet. Small team. It's a big undertaking to make the end all be all, newbie experience, and so,
the game,
it's a little weak.
For being a beta, the game actually is pretty polished. It's just some key things like a new player tutorial, that are just missing, and it's stuff like that. That's why we're still in beta.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, well, I like what I'm seeing so far, and I do remember that the first time I logged into the game, that people were showing up, saying, "Oh, hey, do you need a hand? Do you need to know where to go?" and stuff like that. So it looks like Kentucky Fried Ponage has been eliminated.
Yeah, you can bet on these guys too. I usually lose money.
Ah, yeah.
All the odds are weighted on their genes and behaviors.
If you double-click the Arena Master, you'll get a menu. Click.
Oh, really?
Double-click that. Look through it, and you're going to see bazillions of really neat roosters.
Wow. So, in the roosters that it shows here are the ones that are currently fighting.
Yeah, that you're seeing the fight schedule right there. So the guys at the top, that's who's fighting right now, and then it just goes down the list, and they keep getting rematched with the winners.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of those, at this point, there's very few NPCs there. That's mostly player-owned.
Wow. That's pretty neat. So now, okay, so if I train up, I think you guys are calling them cocks, but I have a hard time with that. The chickens, can I train one up and then sell him to somebody else?
Yes, you can. In fact, I've had a few of mine that I didn't have time to train, and I paid somebody else to train them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they can trade hands. Let me give you an example. I'm going to drop right here in front of me a cage. That's got one of my birds in it, probably Orange Julius. You can pick that up and it's yours.
Oh. Yeah, well, I won't take your bird.
Well, go ahead and give him a test run.
Okay.
Now, in your inventory, just double-click him.
Okay.
And boom. You spawned him right next to you.
Okay. Is he going to follow me around?
If he's trained to. I don't know that he is. Some of them are more loyal than others. Chickens. They're not like dogs. But he's got a pedigree if you double-click him and bring up his menu.
Uh-oh. There's other chickens here. Looks like we're going to have a fight.
Sometimes they'll fight. Especially in this place.
Yeah.
We also have an item in the store that people can buy that they can put their rooster in their realm, and it will always be respawning in their realm.
Oh, okay.
So you can kind of have them wandering your realm while you're not online.
Yeah, see, these two are fighting, and one of them's a former champion, so he's going to win.
And so, does that make them? I guess that would make them worth more if he's a former champion.
Yes.
And then now, how does breeding work?
Well, realm owners generally do that, although there are some hen houses out in the world. But we've kind of tweaked the breeding on these. It's not quite straightforward. The hen house actually has the hen's genetics, and because people are really more interested in the roosters, it's not a 50-50 mix. It's more like 66-33 in favor of the roosters. So there are people who have realms that are set up completely as pet breeding operations.
It seems that somebody's putting holes in the carpet here.
He's just showing off.
My pants are on fire.
If this were a PvP zone, you'd be hurting.
I'd be dead.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, in fact, that's a so let's just kind of go into the magic.
Okay.
Magics.
Let's head to a different dungeon.
Sure.
Yeah. Pick one.
Okay, and while we're heading there, I have somebody in chat who says that they got one of the starter packs, but now they don't know what to do with it.
Okay, they need to create their account first, of course. And for people who are listening to this on YouTube, just go to the website and fill out the beta application, and then within a week you'll probably get a code to create your account. Once you're in game, there's a little checkbox icon on the left. You just click that and select redeem code and then type it in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all there is to it.
Okay, cool. Now I have a bunch. Oh, there we go.
Let's see where they are. I think someone's running this right now.
Can we just catch up to them?
Oh, it looks like they've killed the boss that's in here.
Yeah, they're probably going up above now.
Oh yeah, so they're probably going on the next
They're
phase.
looting the chests.
Yeah,
You
lockpicking.
have to pick the locks on the chests. They have some pretty good loot sometimes.
Okay, they're downstairs, it looks like.
Oh, they're gonna resurrect
If they haven't already.
the plague griffin.
Okay.
Yes, they have to violate the plague griffin's grave.
What, by throwing up on it?
Yeah, he's full of disease. You have to sit on his disease field.
Yeah, careful, you'll die if you stay there very long.
Oh, golly, I was making a mess.
Okay, so we were going to talk about magic.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so magic is run through staffs. Boy, there's just countless types of staffs in the game. Once you have a staff out, you can pull up your magic menu, and boy, how many spells are there? 20 something or something.
I don't know, I lost count.
But magic is it's so useful. The damage over time, the just direct, you lightning something, and that's just a pretty awesome way to kill a monster. Then you've got some other more some less direct spells, like I'll just show you here. I can try to block everybody in with a crystal wall, for instance. Fire fields. You saw Meteor Storm earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Was
He put holes in my carpet.
so
We're down here.
Oh, where is down here?
Okay, no, he was upstairs.
so if I wanted to prevent you from exiting, maybe I'd
Oh,
start
okay.
running the walls. It's it's great for monsters too. It doesn't have to just be for PvP.
This is another type of wall. It's called ethereal wall, and basically players can run through it, but monsters can't.
Oh, okay.
Yes, quite useful. You can get enhanced ethereal wall. Most of the spells have an enhanced mode. That's
The last player wall used on me was with boxes. Placed at my
Yeah.
doorstep.
Yes.
Going
most
back to the
games
UO
have-
days.
most games have something like that.
Yeah. So do spells use reagents?
Yes.
Yeah, they're called essences, and you actually charge your staff, and they're held within your staff.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
you do need to periodically recharge.
Okay. Where'd you
Okay,
guys
let's
go?
head
Going
let's
up-
head back up. Yeah, let's
Okay.
head back up. Another one of our spells that's I find interesting is called Noxious Plague, and you cast it on a monster, and then it will start to spread to any adjacent monsters and so on, and it will spread like 5 generations. So it's a great way to get rid of swarms.
Mm-hmm.
So
Is this
we're just-
extra loot that people left around?
Yes.
Yeah, it's stuff they didn't want.
Yeah, you could just go in and clean up here afterwards. You could earn some loot,
Yeah,
earn some money.
except
that
I'm
way.
sure that they took all the best stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You could sell that stuff to a vendor, though.
Well, as
Yeah.
a lower level player, you know.
And that's another thing to mention. A low-level player can go into a dungeon with a high-level player. You know, tag along, stay safe. There's no barriers to entry to any of these dungeons.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was one of the things that I really enjoyed about Ultima Online is that really you could go anywhere. It was just that there was a lot of places where you were more likely to die.
Right. Yeah, I like that freedom in games.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is another phase section. They need to kill these monsters before the next door will open.
Let's boy,
There we
do the
go.
whole dungeon.
You want to talk about spiritualism?
Yeah, let's talk about that. That's a kind of another option that a player might have other than magic.
So you can see this little this griffin here that's all kind of glowing blue.
Yeah.
That's actually a summoned spirit that a player summoned using the spiritualism skill. They don't to use spiritualism. You do not need essences like you do with sorcery. Instead, it uses souls. So when a monster dies, you use the Harvest Souls spell to collect the souls off of that creature, and that's basically your fuel to summon spirits. We've got, how many are there, Herb?
Oh, there's
Almost
about
10?
a dozen. Yeah, there's
Dozen?
about a dozen. If you click the button with the little spirally horns on it, it brings up the menu.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all of these are spirits, and then the smaller icons are special spells. You know, spiritual chains, for instance, will temporarily freeze movement. I can do a spiritual blast. I can enchant my weapon with, you know, for a certain amount of time with spiritual energy. And every time a spirit is killed, it also gives a bonus to the caster. So I can actually purposely kill my spirits to gain mana or some other bonus that goes with that spirit. So it's actually pretty interesting. We're just starting to see how well this works with PvP, and people are using it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually
And
pretty exciting.
The spirits are highly specialized. Some are specifically designed for PvP, some are designed for PvE, some are, you know, like support, like healers. And each of the spirits has, you know, not only its special characteristics, but even when it dies, it has a special death effect. So for example, if you summon the healer, if it eventually dies, you'll get an instant boost to your health just as a final benefit. You can have 3 spirits summoned at a time, but only 1 of each type at a time.
I love all the detail in the dungeons. You know, all of this stuff. Let's see, like this electrical switch.
Yeah, and that's another one of the little tasks. What they need to do is they need to turn on the power here, and then go upstairs and complete the circuit. And they need to do that 3 times before they'll summon the boss or resurrect the boss.
Mm-hmm.
Another cool part of this dungeon that they've already passed, but I don't know if you saw those little. Where are you?
Me?
Yeah,
Oh,
Come on,
I
Ains.
went
Come on
and
out here for a
wandered
second.
off. Yeah.
Yeah. If you see this little, okay, see this little worm-like thing here?
Yeah, I was noticing them.
Okay, that's
Let me
an
spawn a skeleton.
Okay, yeah, that's a wraith essence, and if it ever comes in contact with a skeleton, it'll combine to create a new type of creature. And earlier in this dungeon, there's a forest that's just full of these things. So you need to be careful because every time you kill a gloom wraith, it turns into a gloom wraith essence. So you need to make sure that you're not killing the wraiths at the same time you're killing the skeletons, or it'll create this bigger guy here that's whacking on me.
Uh-oh.
Oh, they just completed the circuit.
So are we all gonna die now?
If
I won't because I'm invulnerable.
Oh, I'm dying. Woohoo! And he's still coming after me. Let's see, what do I gotta do? I gotta drink this Chardonnay, this wine. Will that heal me?
Yep, that's what you need to do. You can
Okay.
also set up hotkeys for it, of course.
this is a great place to cast an ethereal wall. You go into a hallway, cast an ethereal wall, and make a little safe zone. Boy, that's just too many monsters to fight all at once. Let's see what we can do. Yeah. Okay. So we have some safety out here if you need it. Oh, somebody died. Somebody else died.
Oh,
Our
he's taking
valiant
a
players
dirt nap.
Yeah, well. Poor guys.
Yeah.
Yes, they can shoot through the ethereal walls, but and those bullets they're shooting will drain your magic, so it kind of sucks. Okay, so yeah, you have magic, you have spiritualism, and then you have, of course, the melee skills. Basic weapon types, you have severing, swords, and axes. I don't know how many swords and axes. Do we have like 70? Something like that? Some
at
of them
least.
are pretty neat too. Some of them will. Some of them have some really neat special maneuvers. Every weapon has up to 4 special maneuvers it can do. It uses up some of your agility, and maybe it's to stun the enemy, maybe it's to block an attack, maybe it's to, right now I'm able to create magical traps by stabbing my sword into the ground, and some swords are specifically designed to kill certain types of monsters. You have your Slayer types. So if you come up here,
Okay.
So now they need to complete the circuit again.
I need to complete.
Or
the
wait, no, or have they done it? No, I guess they haven't done it yet.
So
now we're on.
who comes up with these ideas?
Mostly us. We get some recommendations from players. We're definitely open to feedback.
Stand in one of these gaps.
Yes.
Did they finish it?
No, they haven't finished it.
Is this a gap that I'm standing in?
No, over.
This guy's not glowing, so.
Oh, a gap
Yeah.
in the wire.
Yes.
Ah,
Stand
there
right
we
there.
go.
Okay, Herb, go get the other one.
Oh, am I gonna use my armor to complete the circuit?
Yeah,
You are.
but it's not going to happen because they did it 3 times, Paul.
Oh, they've already done it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's basically how they.
We missed it. We were downstairs. That spirit resurrected, shocked him back to life.
So they're now ready to do the final.
So you have blunt instruments like hammers and stuff. They're very similar, and what they can do to the swords. And then you have crossbows.
Mm-hmm.
Crossbows are, I always consider them a secondary weapon. I wouldn't consider it my primary. But
There are a lot of players who make it their primary.
are there? Yeah, I'm not afraid of them. All right. Yeah, so we have the bosses up here.
Oh, look at that.
The Plague Griffin and a Frost Griffin. Now, later I'm going to be putting in some more quests in this dungeon. We do have a quest system, but Link Realms isn't really a questy game, you know. Mostly we use quests to service certain dungeon mechanics or to help new players. But it's definitely not a game of 10,000 quests, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're great for the first month in any game, but after that, I don't know about you, but yeah,
So this plague griffin here, you'll see these little fleas on the ground jumping around.
I saw somebody just now laughing at me that I've got fleas. I
Yeah,
wasn't sure what to think about that.
If you notice, your guy will now start scratching himself, and it actually is a sort of a debuff for melee, because a lot of times you will, instead of swinging your weapon, you'll scratch yourself. So you want to avoid those.
I see.
You will also spit plague, and you don't want to step in those tiles, or you almost guaranteed will die.
yeah, that thing's got some nasty germs.
And where'd they lead the frost griffin?
He's off in the forest somewhere.
Guess they
Okay.
take first.
So, one thing we haven't mentioned so far, and of course, you know, it's always fun in an interview to show off the dungeons and the fighting.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, Link Realms is also a very crafting-based game. Some people really put a lot of work into, for instance, farming. A lot of people will get themselves a big field of cotton and sew stuff all day long, and boy, they can make some neat stuff, you know. Better than you could find in a dungeon most of the time. Then you've got cooking, and I don't know. There's a bazillion kinds of foods you can cook. They have their pros and cons, you know, different cooldowns between heals, stuff like that. We don't have our blacksmithing in yet. We have big plans for that. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, mining especially.
Mining, yeah, boy. If we only had the time. Everybody loves to mine. You can, however, do some prospecting. If you have a shovel and a gold pan, anywhere you dig, you can start digging around to make holes. Sometimes you find stuff, but you know, if you have a gold pan, you can sift the dirt and find all kinds of gold nuggets and other metal items. It's pretty neat. Good way for new players to make money.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, so do you have to have a profession in this game to survive, to make enough money?
You can, even with just a very base amount of, say, tailoring, sew items that you can sell at a profit. But you know, also monsters spawn. Some of the monsters spawn with cash on them. So no, you don't have to be a crafter.
Mm-hmm. My guy certainly has fleas. Yes, it's got to be hard to scratch through that armor.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so, okay, so once again, those of you who are watching live or on YouTube, you can sign up for the beta at linkrealms.com. At markeedragon.com we have starter packs, which normally cost, I don't remember how much they cost, but it's more than $1, I know that. And you can get the starter packs there, which give you some resources to use here in the game to get you started. And so, Herb and Paul, do you have anything else that you want to show off before we call it good?
Oh, there's always dungeons to show off, but I think we gave a good introduction.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes, well, we don't want to spoil all the surprise. Oh, I'm getting cold here.
Oh, yeah, you might want to move out of that.
Yeah, wow, I'm getting
Oh, wait, you're
lagged
frozen.
out. Yeah, I am
You're
way
frozen.
lagged out now.
No, you were actually frozen. You can't move. while
Oh,
you're frozen.
okay. Well, I noticed that my frames per second were going down quite a bit with
Yeah,
all
with
of
all
the.
these ice storms.
In fact, I lost my mouse cursor. I don't even know where it's at. Oh, there it is. Okay, now I'm running out of the way here. No, I like that. I like that being out of control in a game. Affect other people. I think that's part of risk is something that I think is required in every game. So,
Yeah.
okay.
One thing to say before we shut down, we've put a lot of work into allowing people to make an individual character that's not the same as everybody else's character. Both, of course, everybody has different skills, but, you play a lot of games and everybody of a certain level has, the high-level armor. One of 3 or 4 different high-level armors. And Link Realms, you'll never see 2 people look the same unless they're a day 1 newbie wearing the jumpsuit.
Or they're a guild who wants to look the same.
Or a guild, yes.
Right.
But even they tend to have some differences. So, I really feel like, a lot of MMOs, they're just in an overhead game. You can be a little more social. You can type stuff above your head and you can see it. You don't have to watch a chat window. Those kind of, they're getting rare. Most games these days are sticking with the attempt to be first person and simulate reality from your point of view. But I kind of liked the old days of MMOs. We're trying to capture those days again.
Well, I think you have a lot of things that were special about those days here that you've captured them well in the game. So it's a much different experience than a lot of the games releasing these days.
And that's a good thing, I think.
Okay, well, guys, I appreciate you taking the time to show off the game, and everybody else who is watching this, go check it out, linkrealms.com. We have some free codes for you at markeedragon.com, so you can get a starter pack, and then come and join this community here and give it a shot. So, Paul and Herb, I thank you very much.
Thank you.
And,
Thanks a lot.
So everybody go check it out. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's a link in the description. And I'm Markee Dragon. Everybody take care.